Welcome back to the Snowpoint Cast. Today we're going to be taking a look at a versus match between the classic match, Trevor I on the right, and myself on the left. I'm going to be playing Gyarados, and Trevor's going to be playing Regigigas. So both of these decks are actually decks that already existed in the 2010 matchups. This matchup has already been played in 2010. However, I think that there's a couple really important differentiations between the two decks in this format that kind of bring them to another level. I think one of the things that both of the decks gain is Junk Arm. So Junk Arm, discard 2 cards. Trevor's got one there in his hand. You can see right there. Discard 2 cards from your hand and then take a trainer card from your discard pile, put it in your hand. So really, really great to just be able to recover cards, also discard cards with Gyarados. But both of us are going to be playing that card, so we both have some resource recycling cards. This is going to be an interesting match. There's also some other interesting interactions between this deck. For example, Mesprit on Regigigas side is able to lock powers. So being able to slow down the Gyarados, some powers are pretty important. So I'm going to flip a Magikarp to Trevor's Crobat. Not the optimal starter. Honestly, you definitely want to start Sableye with Gyarados, but Magikarp is like okay, I guess. It means that you have the potential, at least on your second turn, to hit that turn 1 Gyarados if you hit some crazy stuff. But Trevor's just going to drop a Let Loose Giratina, put me down to 4 cards. He sees that I don't have that Sableye there, so hitting the hand disruption is pretty solid. I mean, I don't just have a way to automatically get out of it. Now I have to draw out of it or Sea Spray out of it, I guess. Sea Spray, Magikarp's free attack. So yeah, Let Loose, one of the really good cards that, you know, some 2010 lists play Giratina. I don't play it in my 2010 list, but I think it's like an amazing card in Majestic Dawn, Call of Legends Regigigas, because you have access to Seeker in this format. So Seeker, both you and your opponent pick up one of your bench Pokemon. So just being able to reuse that, you know, up to 3, maybe 4 times or more because you play versus Seeker is really solid. Trevor's going to hit a basic Reggie there as well. All he really wants is the attach, but he misses the attach and just goes for the pass. So still not so bad of a turn 1 from Trevor. I mean, he hits a decent board and he's got the option to retreat into something next turn. I do have that Sableye and the energy, so I am going to be using Impersonate this turn. I'm going to drop the Regice as well, which could be good, honestly. You know, Trevor has a free retreater in the active right now, but if we can get that free retreater onto the bench, I also want to discard Carps, and I do have one in my hand as well. So yeah, we're going to see what we got here. Might go for, oh yeah, probably just going to go for that. Wait to use the Regice. You know, I kind of like discarding 1 Carp there because Trevor now has the option to go Mesprit Lock. And so I'm just going to Impersonate, Collector, go for a Magikarp, an Uxie, maybe another Carp, maybe a Smeargle. Kind of depends on what's going on here. Smeargle's not bad because it lets you set up without having to discard your supporter cards, and it kind of lets you use your opponent supporters, like Sage's Training, for example, could potentially be a really great card to steal off of a Trevor, but we're going to see what the third basic I grab here is. Might just go for something, a free retreat as well. Might just go for like a Crobat or something. I'm going to go for an Azelf, so I guess I got a Magikarp prized. 1 in the hand, 1 on the board, and then 1 of the prizes. So just going to grab an Azelf to be able to get that guy out of there. Trevor does have some stuff in his hand, though. He's got Regigigas X, 2 Regigigas X, and a Judge. He's just going to Judge, take those Pokemon, put him back. So kind of just burned a Collector there for no gain, which is pretty decent. What Trevor really wants here, he can have a pop-off turn, but he needs to hit a lot of cards. There's a turn where he goes double Colorless Energy, and then sacrifice Regigigas, and if he's able to get some energy in the discard with like a Junk Arm or something, he can sacrifice something and then accelerate that and then drag off the Magikarp for 30 HP for a knockout, which would be a pretty good play. Takes a prize and forces me to hit Broken Time Space if I want to hit a Gyarados next turn. And I did hit another Carp off that, which is pretty nice. He does have the extra belt, and he's going for the Uxie, so he's just going for, you know, draw some cards because he does know that he has potential to make a really solid play there. He hits the energy attach as well, which is pretty nice. He's got 2 waters in hand. Also got that Uxie X, which could be good, and a Smeargle, so he's just going to bench the Smeargle, retreat to it, and then probably be using Portrait. He doesn't really have anything else that he needs to do. And yeah, may as well see what I got, see if I have anything in my hand. So he's going to go for a Portrait, and I do have a Cyrus Conspiracy in that hand. So Trevor does get to search for a supporter for next turn, as well as a basic energy card. So it's actually really solid to hit that Cyrus off of the Smeargle. So really cool. Yeah, MD-CoL Legend's one of the really cool additions in this format. If it's active, you can use Portrait, look at your opponent's hand, take a supporter card, and then use that card as the effective portrait. So Trevor's going to be searching out some a basic energy as a supporter card. He doesn't play Poke-a-Turn, which I don't think Gigas should really play Poke-a-Turn. But he does get access to 2 cards for free, and they're searched out cards, which is really just sets his turn up next turn nicely. So one of those is fighting energy. Because Regigigas level X, Giga Blaster, or Giga Blast, it's one of the two, I don't remember, requires fighting, water, and a metal, and a colorless. So Trevor's going to go for the collector and the fighting energy, just ready to get some stuff next turn. You know, he's just kind of fine with a slow draw. I'm not really doing anything, and he's disrupted me pretty hard with that turn 1 Let Loose, and then the turn 2 Judge. So he slowed my setup down a fair amount. So he's pretty satisfied just going for an energy and a collector here and just setting up some more next turn. Pretty good. Yeah, he's got a pretty good looking hand, to be honest. He's got energy attaches for the next 2 turns. He's chilling pretty hard. So I do have a Versus Seeker, which is actually kind of nice. I'm probably going to end up using it this turn. Yeah, just going to go for the collector. Versus Seeker for collector. And then get some basic Pokemon back, which is really nice because now I have that Reggie live as well. So there is the potential to be getting a knockout this turn. It's not guaranteed, but if I get the Q and then, you know, another Magikarp and the Azelf, I might be able to I'm gonna go for an Uxie and an Azelf and the other carp instead. Because I have the one Magikarp in my hand. Which makes a lot of sense, you know, I'm just able to get both of those carps and then discard them. And then after I discard those cards, be able to Uxie to draw up some more cards. And Trevor didn't hit a Mesprit on his turn too, so that's really nice for me. Let's be able to use some of my setup powers. Reggie Move, especially on the Regice, is a really important ability to have access to because you don't have Felicity's drawing in this format. Supporter card, discard up to 2 cards from your hand. You discard 1, draw 3, discard 2, draw 4. So really useful with Sableye just to be able to discard your Magikarps. But since you don't have that as consistently, the Reggie move is a pretty big deal. So Trevor's just going to promote his Free Retreater or the Crobat. He doesn't really care if it goes down because he plays a lot of Pokemon Rescue. Kind of thinking on this Azelf. Trevor actually promotes the Uxie, which is interesting. Oh, that makes sense because he has the Uxie in hand, right? So he's going to promote it and then have the collector for Unknown Q and something else next turn, which is pretty good. Definitely the better promote there for sure. But there is a potential that I knock it out. It's not very likely, but it absolutely is possible if I have a Junk Arm in my hand. So we're just going to see what we're going to get here. Going to grab a Gyarados because I'm just thinking about being able to potentially attack this turn. I do have 2 Carps in my discard, so if I hit Unknown Q and I don't know, I can't really see what else is in the hand, but I guess I could hit some stuff off the Uxie. So I'm kind of just opening up for potential draws off the Ux. I'm thinking about benching the Sableye first, but not going to do that. Just going to go for the Ux for 5, which kind of makes sense, you know. If I can hit Unknown Q and like a Crobat, that'd be perfect, honestly. Or like a Luxury Ball and a Junk Arm. There's a fair amount of outs that I have. But it looks like I'm going to miss here, which is honestly super fun too. It's not a big deal that I miss because I do have that Sableye active. I'm just going to be able to impersonate for some stuff. And I do have that Cyrus next turn as well. Yeah, honestly, in a pretty chill spot here. I have that Gyarados set up. Trevor's kind of setting up pretty slow. He missed an attachment on turn 1, which you really don't want to do as Gigas because you're already a slow enough deck. Yeah, just going to put the... here we go. I'm going to be able to kill this Uxie here. So I'm going to put the Rescue Energy on the Sableye. Communication. I didn't see what the Pokemon was that I put back, but put back a Pokemon. Going to grab a Crobat. And then I'm going to ping the active for 10 with Flash Bite. Unless I prized it, which I very well could have. I did not, which means it's somewhere in the deck somewhere. Keep looking, because it's still in there. Oh, the Sableye. Maybe it's prized. Yeah, it is prized, actually. So I can't grab that, unfortunately. But I am going to go for the Warp Point to see what he's going to put up here. And he promotes his own Crobat, which is a super fun call, too. So and then I'm going to go Rescue Energy on the Gyarados, which is a much better play. Just being able to have that energy on a Gyarados. Rescue Energy you almost always want to put on your Gyarados just because you have that option to recover it if it gets knocked out. And, you know, it's the only real threat that you have against your opponent. So if they're not knocking it out, you're pretty fine with that as well. And if they are knocking it out, you get it all back to your hand. So all you need is a Broken Time Space, and then you can put it all back down again. So I'm in not a bad position here. Trevor has the potential to pop off here with a crazy board. He could potentially kill me. But he does need to hit a lot for that to happen, especially with the Uxie X on the bench now, or the Uxie on the bench to prevent Uxie being active. He's going to hit that many less cards this turn, and he did get a collector with his supporter with a Cyrus with the portrait, so doesn't really have a ton of options. And he top decked a collector too. That sucks so bad. It's so funny when you like search for a supporter and then you just like it's so funny when you like there's other formats where you can like search for supporters and then you like search for one like, oh, I'll get a like Professor Juniper for next turn with a Skyla, and then you like top deck Professor Juniper and you're like, ah, man, I got outplayed by my deck. So Trevor's gonna go for a collector. Definitely gonna find that unknown Q to put on the Uxie. Gonna go for Regice as well. Probably just to get some energy cards in the discard if that's something that he wants to do, so that he can sacrifice and then accelerate them. If he doesn't start getting some stuff on the board really quick, I'm gonna start swinging for some damage. I mean, I'm swinging for 60 right now, but if he doesn't power lock me to the next turn, I'm gonna be able to hit him for definitely the knockout, because I'll be able to hit that other Magikarp, and then have something there. But we'll see. He's gonna go for the Regigigas level X. So it kind of makes me think that he probably has something going on there. So he just didn't grab the third Pokemon with Pokemon Collector and instead communicated whatever. He could get whatever Pokemon they wanted and then communicated back to get the X. He's going to go bench unknown Q, put it on the Smeargle, which is definitely solid. If I hadn't have, got the Uxie out of the bench, he probably would have queued the active and then Ux X'd, but on the Smeargle definitely makes a lot more sense in the position that he's in. So he's going to go Regimove, discard 2. I don't have to switch my active because it's not a basic. I actually can't because it only does. Regimove only affects basic Pokemon, and I have a Gyarados in my active. So he's just going to discard those 2 energy cards, which is really solid for him. Something else that you can do. It's funny how we got 2 Regimove Regice, and they both act very differently. One of them is in Gyarados to discard Magikarp, and the other one is definitely used to move around the opponent's basics, but also really solid for getting basic energy into the discard pile, so that when you level X like this and then sacrifice a Pokemon, probably the Crobat, but it might be the Giratina as well. Yeah, just gonna go for the Crobat, get that damage out of there, which makes sense. You get to accelerate though, so he's just gonna search his discard for 2 energy cards, the water and the fighting, and then attach them. And now all of a sudden, if he gets a metal energy, he's gonna be able to Giga Blast, which is pretty good. So we're gonna see if Trevor can hit that this turn. He hits the DCE, but no metal, so he's going to miss the Giga Blast here, which he really would have liked. However, Trevor's still in a pretty fine position, to be honest. He's going to go DCE on the active, and he might go for a drag off here. He's probably just going to go for the basic attack for 100. I forget what it's called. Let's see. I have Regigigas literally right in front of me because I just played this deck today. It's called Giga Hammer. And you Giga Hammer for 80 with the extra pelt is for 100. So he's going to swing for 100. We'll see what we got here. If I hit, I do have that carp in my hand still, and he didn't Mesprit me, so I am probably just gonna move this out of the active and take a prize. But I don't really want to do that either, honestly, because he can promote the Giratina and then force me to put an extra pelt on or hit a Crobat, which I believe is prized if I want to be able to do that. So not really an amazing position. I kind of wish I had a junk arm here. Yeah, let's see what I got. I do have that extra pelt in hand, so if that is something that I want to do. There are a couple options that I would have had if I had some stuff, but I don't. So I'm just going to discard a Magikarp and a Sableye and force him to switch the active. I kind of really wanted to be hitting into this, but it's not that big of a deal that I'm not. It kind of sucks for sure, but it's not the end of the world. He can just promote the Giratina though, which is really solid, and then I am not going to be able to take the KO here. But he might just go for an Uxie promote as well, just to be able to get KO'd and then be able to switch into whatever he'd like. Next turn, or switch into the Smeargle, obviously, and then be able to use that, and then retreat into whatever he would like after, which is a really solid play as well. But I do have that third Carp in the discard now, and I am up a prize as well since Trevor used Sacrifice. So even if I, this Gyarados gets knocked out, I'm still up a prize right now, which is pretty solid. We're gonna see what I got here. Gonna go for a Collector. Kind of thought about going for a Cyrus, but definitely gonna go for that unknown Q to get a free retreater on the board. I don't have anything with free retreat, and when this Gyarados goes down, I'm definitely gonna need that. Then also gonna go for an Uxie and a Combi. So super fine board position here. Combi just guarantees the Magikarp, and then all I have to find is a Broken Time Space and a Gyarados, and then I can get there and start attacking again next turn. So definitely solid, just kind of setting up for my future turns. I'm gonna bench Q, put a Q on the Sableye. Just to be able to potentially impersonate and then for retreat if that's something that I want to do. And then we're going to go for a Pokemon Communication as well. I'm going to put the Combi back. Not sure if I love that. Kind of So yeah, thing is, like, I don't have the broken time space right now, so I kind of have to just hope for that. Yeah, I'll see what I can do. I do have the rescue energy, so that's really all that I need. I don't really need the Combi. I just need to find BTS. So we're going to go for Uxie, draw 4 cards, and see if we can hopefully find BTS. Trevor does have some hand disruption options. And I don't really see if I got it there. Oh, pretty sure I didn't. Pretty sure those were warp points. But I'm just going to swing for the KO and then go down to 4 prizes here, which is pretty solid. Not a lot I'm looking for. I do have a Junkerman in those prizes as well, and I think maybe another Gyarados. So kind of some dicey prizes, but honestly, that's one of the great things about his elf is you just get to look at your prizes as you take them. It's not technically that way, but when you're playing with friends, you just house rules and get to look at your prizes as you take them. So kind of nice to be able to pick and choose there. Got something useful for my hand. Trevor's going to promote this Smeargle. And then he's got a lot of access to good options because I do have a Cyrus in my hand, which is a one of in Gyarados that I actually really like because it lets you impersonate Cyrus for twins. Just so you get to get a Poketurn and then 2 other cards to potentially hit a Wombo combo. Yeah, Trevor is he's definitely going to KO me here with no matter what he does. He's got a couple options actually to KO. If he goes promote Uxie Bat, he doesn't have to put the Gigas up, and he probably doesn't want the Gigas getting hit if that's preventable, because you know obviously you have to sacrifice if your Regigigas gets hit for a lot of damage, and he'd probably prefer not to do that. He does have a Junk Arm and the Uxx in his hand, so he's probably just going to go for an Uxx. And I don't think there's a switching option in his disc. Oh, he has twins. So that's actually really solid. Yeah, definitely going to go for the Uxx and trade off first. Open the box. Smart, because one of these 2 cards might be the card that he was going to grab with twins, and then that changes your twins. So he missed probably the card that he wanted. There's an energy and something else here. He's thinking about maybe going with a collector as well. He might just want to collect. Yeah, just going to go for the collector. And I think he might have a double Colossus energy here, so he might be able to just swing for 60 with his Uxie. And then he's pretty fine if I kill this Uxie as well, because he's, you know, he's got the Smeargle to still draw cards. And he's going to go for double Mesprit and another Gigas. So Trevor kind of switching to the Power Lock strategy now. I don't know if he's got a switch card in his hand. I'm assuming that he does because, or an energy to probably just attach retreat. Yeah, he's gonna start power locking here, which is nice. So he's gonna go for a Psychic Bind with Mesprit, so I can't use any Poke Powers during my next turn, which is kind of a bummer. And then he's just gonna pay the manual retreat, yeah, and switch up to the Regigigas. And then he's probably just gonna go for the Drag Off just for KO, kill me for 30. I don't think there's anything else he really needs to do. Just do that, and then the Gyarados actually goes back to my hand because of rescue energy, so that's actually really nice. And top deck BTS. No, that is not a BTS top deck. So I'm just going to bench a Magikarp, but I do have a BTS in my hand, actually, so I'm going to drop Broken Time Space and then drop the Gyarados again. So this is kind of that strategy that I was talking about with Rescue Energy, why it's really solid in this deck, because if you have a Broken Time Space, you just automatically hit your Gyarados back, which is really, really good. And Trevor doesn't really have an option to one-shot me at this point, except if he goes like Seeker, Crobat, Metal Energy, which is not a card combination that I think he has right now, because he's kind of been whiffing Metal. So yeah, I'm just going to retreat into this Gyarados and swing at Gigas for 90. I'm kind of ahead in the prize lead right now, so I kind of just need to start hitting him and forcing him to sacrifice. Because if you hit a Gigas for more than like 80 damage, they probably should be sacrificing. Just because they don't want that Gigas to die, especially when it's got an extra pelt on it. There's definitely a potential that I one-shot it the next turn. So Trevor's probably going to give me another sacrifice KO here, which I'm also really fine with. You know, going up on another prize puts me down to 3, and even if Trevor takes a prize, he's down to 4, which it's unlikely that he takes a prize this turn unless he hits a crazy combo. So he is going to go for a sacrifice. He's going to sacrifice the Regice, which isn't really useful to him anymore. So I'm going to check and see what my hand is, see what card I want to draw off my prizes. Probably just going to, well, I don't know. There's a couple options, I guess. I do have a Junk Arm in there. Let's see what else. I got a Warp Energy, a Pokemon Rescue, and I think the last card is a Gyarados. So I do take the Pokemon Rescue because I do have the Bebe Search in my hand, and the Broken Time Space is already out. And I know Trevor doesn't play any Stadium cards. So yeah, just go for the guaranteed. You know, unless he hand disrupts me, I'm going to hit the Gyarados if he does hit that knockout. And if he doesn't, then I can just hold it until I do. And so he is going to go for a Twins. Sacrifice Twins is a really solid combo. He's already ahead on, or he was already behind on prizes, rather. So he just had the option to sacrifice no matter what, but he might hit some crazy cards here. He's probably actually going to go for, the guess is Metal Crobat. because now that he has twins, he can just find the metal and then go for a kill on this Gyarados and also hit some hand disruption on me, which is really nice. Discard the top card of my deck and a random card from my hand. So yeah, Trevor's just going to see what he's got. I think he's going to go Metal Crobat. I think that makes the most sense. He's just going for the trade-off right now. This is the trade-off. Put a card back. So we'll have to see what he's getting. He's going to go for the Pokemon Rescue, which to grab the Crobat. Yeah, hit the Crobat on the active. Pokemon Rescue, not the Crobat. I forgot that it had already been knocked out. And the Metal Energy. There you go. So he's able to hit a Giga Blast to be able to hit me for 120 damage, plus the Crobat is a knockout. So, yeah, pretty good. Honestly, pretty solid. I'm not sure if I had an Expert Belt in my hand. I might have. Poketurn, honestly, not a card I super care about. And then a Secret gets discarded as well. A card I definitely care a little bit more about. But I do have that Pokemon Rescue in my hand. Really glad I didn't discard that. That would have been massive bummer. I would have been in a bit of trouble there. And I do top deck another Seeker, so I'm actually not in that bad of a spot either. Just going to be able to swing for some more, hit some forced sacrifices. If you can kind of put your opponent in this position and say, hey, you have to start sacrificing Pokemon, otherwise I'm going to one-shot you again next turn. Then that's a pretty dicey position for them to be in. And I do have the Bebe or Luxury Ball, which is even better than a Bebe Search because now I don't even have to use that as my supporter for turn. Luxury Ball, find a Gyarados. Luxury Ball is better to get the discard as well because then your Junk Arms are live for it. Luxury Ball, take a Pokemon out of your deck, excluding level X, and then put it in your hand. So I'm grabbing that Gyarados. Going to attach an Expert Belt as well. One of the reasons that's so great with Junk Arms is it takes it out of your discard. So if you have another level or a Luxury Ball in your discard, you can't play another one, but you just play the one and you take it back out, and then you don't have any in your discard anymore, so you can use it again. So really, really solid card with the addition of Junk Arm. And I'm going to go for a Cyrus Conspiracy. Probably just setting up my hand to go for some stuff next turn. I'm going to find a Poketurn. Probably also just going to grab a pointless supporter card. Bebe Search, yeah, to hit the Gyarados. I guess I already have one in hand, but you never know with Giga Blaster. Trevor has the option he has so much energy on this Regigigas now that he can go retreat for 4 and then sacrifice something in the active and then use Giga Blaster again. So he does have that option for sure to be able to swing for lots of damage. So we're just kind of preparing for that in case that's a play that he decides to go for. We're just going to swing for good old 100 or 110. Yep, plus the 10 that was already on there puts him up to 120. So we're slowly chipping at this Reggie. Even if it heals 80, it puts it at 40 left, which with a Crobat and a Poketurn is going to be able to knock out this Regigigas. So, yeah, we'll just see what kind of options that we have here. Trevor might try to go for a Warp Point KO as well. Probably not. But even if he swings into me, I have a Seeker in my hand. So if I am able to find that Warp Energy, if he hits the sacrifice, I have a Warp Energy in my prizes, actually. So I can just grab it and then go Warp Energy to the bench, promote the Sableye, Seeker up, and then put it all back down again and just heal, which is a pretty big turn to just be able to get that guaranteed heal off. We're going to see what Trevor's got in line here. Kind of in a weird spot because he wants to lock powers on me next turn because he knows that math, if he heals down to 40 damage, puts him at 130 with a Crobat and then a Poketurn that I already have in my hand. He knows that math. He knows that I have many, many cards in my hand and that's an option that I for sure have. He does have some options as well, though. We'll see what he's got here. The game is really close. It seems like I am in a pretty big advantage, but the game's actually really close because Regigigas almost always goes down first, and then you just kind of sacrifice to keep your Reggie alive until the board state gets changed around. So Trevor's going to go for a Expert Belt on that Uxie. So kind of interesting. I might go for some late game Uxie plays there, kind of preparing for that, I guess. And then he's going to Seeker probably the Giratina, but maybe the Mesprit as well. And I'll take an Uxie back. I'm very glad to get that bench space. It's actually super important that I'm able to get that bench space. He's probably going to go for the Mesprit. I have so many cards in my hand that, yeah, the Letless Giratina also makes sense. So many cards, 8 cards in hand. You can't really let them keep 8 in hand if they're a Gyarados. And I do have kind of a crazy hand. I do have Seeker in the hand. I do have Poketurn, some other stuff for sure. And then he's just going to go for a sacrifice on the Mesprit to be able to open his bench up. And he has another Mesprit as well from the collector before, so he's going to go for a double turn. He's going to hand disrupt me and then also a Mesprit. So really, really solid from Trevor there. I'm going to go down to 2 prizes, but I'm also going to get hand disrupted down to 4. So I'm going to have to hopefully draw off this. He's going to go for the Psychic Bind again. Then just making sure he doesn't want to do anything else before he goes for the Let Loose. And now he's going to go for the Let Loose. So both of us are going to shuffle our hands, do our deck, and draw 4 cards. So see what we hit off here. Honestly, I'm kind of in a decent spot. because there are a lot of card combinations that I can hit. I have a Versus Seeker in the deck. Junk Arm doesn't really do me any good, but Versus Seeker for Cyrus Conspiracy, to be able to find a Poketurn and then a card for a Crobat next turn potentially gives me knockout. Unless he goes Sacrifice, in which case I'm pretty fine with that too. That gives me a Warp Point win condition, which is like super fine. So yeah, Trevor, let's see what he's got here. He's just going to go for the Hand Disruption and then hit me for 100, I think, with Giga Hammer. Doesn't really have any better option. Honestly, not a crazy turn from Trevor. Not an awful turn either, but he is setting up this Uxie to be able to attack with that if he wants to do that. Just because he knows that this Reggie might be in a dicey spot next turn. You know, if I'm swinging at it for 110, plus the 40 that's already on it, puts it up to 150, and then, you know, all I need is 2 pings to be able to kill that, and that's pretty easy to hit with the Crobat, especially when he's down 2 Mesprits. He's only got 1 left, and he doesn't have bench slots left, and he doesn't really want to sacrifice anymore. I mean, he might if he has to, but it's really not something that you want to do. He did set up that extra expert belted Uxie. So, you know, after he kills this Gyarados, I will have to take that down with an extra belt if I want to potentially win the game there. And so I'm just going to go for a Collector. Going to grab a Crobat, a Combi, and a Uxie. Sure, yeah, just going to hold the Crobat for now. Can't really play anything, honestly. There's not really anything that I need to play. But I'm just kind of setting up for next turn, unless Trevor has a Versus Seeker for Judge, or a Seeker, again, to be using that Giratina Let Loose. I'm kind of in a chill spot. I'm just kind of setting up for a potential knockout next turn. And I do have a Poketurn in my discard, so I have so many live outs. Just with Junk Arm being able to grab a Poketurn, or 3 other Poketurns in my deck. So lots and lots of outs to be able to potentially kill this Gigas. He's probably actually going to go for the Sacrifice, because the odds that I have a Warp Point compared to the odds that I have Crobat Poketurn are actually a lot worse for him. And he's probably doing that math in his head. He probably knows that, you know, I have 7+ outs to Poketurn, and I already have the Crobat in my hand. So it really depends on what he has this turn. I mean, if he has another Mesprit or Psychic Bind, then it's kind of a different story, but we'll see what he can do this turn. He's up to 150 damage now, so this Regigigas is almost knocked out. It's pretty close. Trevor's going to go for that Versus Seeker that I was talking about, and probably going to go for the Seeker himself. Yeah, going to go for the Seeker. Probably going to be using Seeker on Psychic Bind Mesprit. I don't know if he needs to Hand Disrupt is the thing. Like, Hand Disrupt is fine. Honestly, it's fine. The Hand Disrupt is good too, but I don't know. I just feel like I'd rather hit the guaranteed Power Lock on it next turn. Well, I guess it just puts it off 1 turn, which... Can he win the game in 1 turn is the thing. Because he's going to take 2 prizes this turn if he has an energy. So he's just going to go for the trade-off here. Putting a card in his hand. Seeing if he has the energy after this Let Loose. From his previous Let Loose, rather. See what he's got. He's going to see at least 4 more cards with this Giratina if he wants to Let Loose. I honestly don't know which of these 2 is the best. So Psychic Bind stops for guaranteed 1 turn. But it doesn't draw you fresh cards is the thing. He's just going to burn a Premier Ball, and then he's going to Seeker. Let's see which one he grabs. I'm not actually sure. He's going to go for the Giratina, because I do have that Crobat guaranteed in hand, and I do have kind of a crazy hand, so it does make sense. I'm going to put the Azelf back in my hand. Probably actually should put the Uxie back. Should put the Uxie back, probably. Because then I have another out to draw. That loses me. Put the Uxie back. Okay, didn't do that, but that's okay. You know, that's funny, because I have a Gyarados my prizes, so that might be what I'm thinking there is be able to get the Azelf back to be able to get the Gyarados if that's something that I need next turn with a Collector. So kind of an interesting option. I actually think that's probably correct, because I already have an Uxie as well. So the other Uxie kind of greedy, but with that Gyarados still in my prizes, I was just drawing other things that I kind of needed at the time. I think grabbing the Azelf there is actually probably the correct play. Trevor's still in a potentially game-losing position here, though. He does... Ooh, those are some good cards for sure. He hits the 3rd Seeker, or 2nd Seeker, with a Versus Seeker, rather. As well as a Junk Arm and Warp Energy and a Double Colorless Energy. So, really not bad. He's going to Junk Arm, discard a Warp and a DCE. He's going to grab a Pokemon Rescue. It looks like he is going to sacrifice this turn. He's going to go for the Psychic Bind as well, just to prevent the potential game here off of my 4-card hand. which I think is super, super fun. You know, he's going to be able to kill with the Mesprit, or with the Uxie level X rather. He's just going to be able to Psychic Restore for 40. Actually, he's going to need to hit another energy here if he wants to KO. He's not going to do that. He's just going to keep the Regi active. But if I hit, you know, Gyarados and an Expert Belt, I can win that way now as well. So there are a lot of win conditions on the board for me. It kind of depends what I draw here. Gonna get rid of the Bubble Coat, dead card. That is a great draw for him. Definitely getting rid of the Collector is really great for Trevor. I'm not in a great position now because I don't really have. I'm gonna have a Bebe search, but the board set up to be able to get. I would have guaranteed got a Combi, and then I would have been in a much better spot. Now I'm kind of in a weird position here where Trevor's tied on prizes, and if he sacrifices again, he's gonna have a fully healed Gigas, and I can't really handle that. So yeah, this combination of Let Loose and Psychic Bind with Mesprit, such a killer combo, and just being able to Seeker and you know, take the Let Loose Giratina back and use it over and over again is really deadly, like super solid, especially with Psychic Bind. Like that combo of just being able to drop. I think he dropped Let Loose Giratina and Psychic Bind Mesprit 3 turns in a row on me, which is really good, but like lucky for him, but like just a really solid play. Good play from Trevor just to know that that's what he needs to do. And I only need one more prize, so we'll see what I'm gonna get here. I think I'm just failing the Bebe search, I guess. Yeah, no, I'm gonna use the Bebe search. I don't know why I was. So I might grab an unknown question mark here. No, I'm just gonna go for the Uxie. And then if Trevor has the Seeker, which he actually does, yeah, I'm kind of in a weird spot here. He's gonna be able to Psychic Bind me again. And I don't really have a win con. I don't really have a win con unless I have unless I top deck Warp Energy, which I like. I don't know if that Bebe search was the best Bebe search, to be honest, because I think it might have went to better use searching for a Gyarados if I grab a Collector here, which he discarded, so there's actually no Collector left. So I'm going to fail search that Impersonate, and I'm in a really dicey position where Trevor's probably just going to sacrifice again. Or no, he can't sacrifice again because I'm at 1 prize. But yeah, he's finally had that Let Loose stick. So it's kind of something that you have to try over and over with this deck. Eventually a Let Loose or a Judge combined with Giga Blast will probably stick, but you have to make it. You have to try it to get it there that many times. And Trevor on the 3rd time finally had something that didn't really hurt me. So, or it did hurt me rather, because I'm not drawing anything. You guys gonna go for the Ux X attach. It kind of makes sense to retreat here and kill with the Uxie because it's 1 more card that I need. You know, Trevor didn't Psychic Bind this turn, so no, he Seekered the Mesprit and did Psychic Bind this turn, so that's actually so bad for me. It makes it so I literally need to have the perfect cards in my hand to win the game, which it seems like I don't have, so he's just gonna go for a kill on the Uxie, and I'm going to top deck a Mesprit and have nothing in my hand, all power, so Trevor wins this one. Well done to Trevor. Well played. Regigigas is kind of a hard deck to play, but Trevor did it really well. If you have any questions about this matchup or the format, feel free to leave in the comments below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.